Welcome to State of Tech, Synechron's innovation podcast. Synechron is a leading global digital transformation consulting firm focused on financial services and big technology organizations. Our State of Tech podcast hosts subject matter experts and business leaders as they explore emerging technologies, industry insights, innovation trends, and more. Let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome to the latest edition of Synechron's State of Tech podcast series. I'm Momin, Chief Information Security Officer at Synechron. Today, I'm thrilled to host a conversation with Microsoft Asia's lead Chief Cybersecurity Advisor, Abbas Kudrati. Alongside his work at Microsoft, Abbas serves as an executive advisor to multiple prestigious institutions and security startups. He's also a bestselling author and well-known mentor within the wider security community. What a pleasure to have you here, Abbas.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, Aaron. Pleasure to be here.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So today we'll be discussing recent developments in the cybersecurity space, including deepfakes, generative AI-powered attacks, and the rapid pace of technology advancements. Let's get started. One of the most talked about topics today, capturing the imagination and promoting innovation and efficiencies with an organization, is generative AI. Companies are rapidly using tools like Copilot or Gemini to improve efficiency from day-to-day work. However, attackers are also ramping up and using generative AI for nefarious purposes. How have you seen this trend impact our field, and what are some of the most sophisticated cyber threats people and businesses should be protecting themselves from now?
AI is not something new. It's been around since 1950s. But when OpenAI launched ChatGPT, this has become like a talk of the town. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is talking about Gen AI, and we are seeing lots and lots of Gen AI-based app as well as website, and thousands of new business have also popped up saying that we are doing AI and we have Gen AI. But at the same time, make no mistake, the way we are talking about Gen AI, attackers and nation-state actors are also leveraging these kind of technology. Microsoft tracks almost 78 trillion signals on a daily basis, and we track almost 330 or 350 plus nation-state actors worldwide. We have seen some notorious state actors such as from countries like Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. These nation-state sponsored attackers are also leveraging this technology. Either they are using it as a translation service, or they are using it for analyzing the vulnerability, or they are creating an automated script for targeting social engineering attacks and a very well-crafted spear phishing email. They are also leveraging these kind of technologies for automatic vulnerability assessment or identifying the vulnerabilities across the internet or targeting a specific organization. We are seeing lots of use cases for deepfakes where they use it for business email compromise. This is something very prominent, and we are seeing a lot of these nation-state actors and script kiddies leveraging this technology for doing all kind of misinformation, disinformation campaigns as well as fraud.
What are some other use cases that you're seeing in terms of what attackers are using to drive sophistication with cyber attacks?
Some of the most common things we have seen, for example, audio cloning. My son, who is studying his cybersecurity bachelor's degree in one of the university in Melbourne, he came and told me the recommendation, Dad, you should change your mobile phone auto message. So if I'm busy, automatically you will hear a message that, hey, this is Abbas Kudrati, I'm busy and please leave your message. He said, don't record your own voice on that because attackers can take that sample of voice and create my clone. I have never thought of such a basic thing, which we all do to make it more personalized. But look at the example we have. Attackers can now leverage my message from my phone and take it as a sample and recreate my voice as an audio clone. Similarly, we have seen examples of video. We had seen a number of examples during the Russia-Ukraine war where deepfake videos have been created for Ukraine prime ministers and saying that Russia is right and we are wrong and creating the sympathy to create this kind of misinformation. There was actually a Zoom call made by a CEO of the company. However, 3 of the people on that call were a deep fake and only one guy was a real, who was a CFO. And they convinced him to transfer the money on that particular call.
It was quite alarming to see that kind of sophistication come out. And these types of attacks are just increasing. And we're definitely going to see a lot more coverage in the news around this. One of the other use cases that we're seeing attackers use is the automation and creation of malware. You can leverage generative AI to create malware for you in a very rapid manner that can potentially even evade some of the traditional antivirus solutions out there. And so we're definitely seeing a lot more of that in terms of facilitating and accelerating reconnaissance and enumeration.
I saw an example where there are like Warm GPT kind of a tool available where attackers have created a malware called Warm using the chat GPT format, not a chat GPT as such, but a specific GPT-based model created for creating malwares and viruses. However, the more sophisticated our EDR, XDR platform, they are able to quickly detect these kind of worm, which are specifically crafted or created with GPT-based worm. Definitely, we are seeing more and more examples coming up on the internet. We are reading how attackers are leveraging these kind of platform to create these kind of malwares and viruses and scripts.
It's definitely keeping pace with the attackers and doing what we can to deter these advanced persistent threats. What can we do to keep pace? And what are some of the capabilities and the investments that we can make as defenders within our organizations to counter these new tactics that attackers are currently using?
From the process point of view, you always start from creating an acceptable Gen AI policy. So your employee understands in terms of how I'm using it and what are the boundaries of using this technology. As soon as the chat GPT was out, a lot of my friends and customers reach out to me saying, hey, we are blocking this technology. But blocking is not the right way because your user, your employee will go home and try this technology. So there is a process in terms of people, we say, create an acceptable usage policy, bring them awareness, what to use, how to use, and what kind of prompt they can ask, and maybe give them a prompt engineering training, how to ask the right prompt, not to ask the bad stuff, and not to post any corporate sensitive detail on open platforms such as ChatGPT. Whatever you put in there, you don't know how it is managed as such. So give them the right education, the right training, create the right policy. Then come the last part is the technology part. Why not leverage something like Microsoft Copilot, an enterprise version? If you want to something leverage at an enterprise level, which is within your organization, then you can opt for an enterprise version of being Copilot, which is much better because you have the full control of what data it is. And it goes through all the checks and balances in terms of the responsible AI framework and where the data goes, and you can question it and you can verify everything in your environment. I would say always buy a solution rather than going for open source, because when you pay something, you get the value and you have a control on what is going in and out in terms of your data in those kind of technology.
Couldn't agree with you more. The human is the last line of defense, right? So at the end of the day, we have to enhance our existing security training and awareness programs and get people a little more acclimated with the types of use cases and types of threats that could be potentially presented. In terms of automation, speed is the new currency, right? So yep. I think it's all a matter of how quickly can we react to a potential attack in real time. And certainly generative AI can support our investigation response procedures, making sure that we make timely actions to stop an attack in progress. We're seeing that technology vendors and security vendors are now beginning to integrate capabilities into their solution sets that can help us detect and identify and potentially stop attacks through the kill chain process. So certainly leveraging automation through our security operations center in a security environment is going to be critical to help support incident response processes and procedures.
Well, absolutely, Aaron. You rightly said speed is a key word here because it only takes attacker 60 minutes to get inside your environment and get out with the data. So really, we are fighting against that 60 minutes of mean time to remediate. If your mean time to acknowledge is more than 60 minutes, I think you are falling behind. And only way to match that kind of a number is to leverage automation. And to do that, you have to leverage technologies like Gen AI to automate many things and respond to you quickly. A simple example, Microsoft has a tool called Microsoft Copilot for Security. We have seen more than 28% of time saving in terms of the work which our security operation people are doing. And if you ask them, is it okay if we turn off this service? And they said, no way, we are not giving it back. They have got used to it because in the security operations center, we have a concept, something called alert fatigue. They are bombarded with thousands and thousands of alerts on a daily basis. And if you don't automate, they will get into a fatigue mode and they say, I'm not enjoying my work. So we really want our analysts to focus where they can use their creativity and their knowledge rather than focusing on the very repetitive task which they get in. By leveraging this kind of Gen AI and a Copilot for security, they are now focusing on actual tasks where they can use their intelligence and automate everything which are very repetitive in a manner. And I'll give you the second most used case in Security Operations Center and how Gen AI or these kind of technology is helping. You ask any SOC analyst today, which is the most tedious or the boring task? They would say report writing. You give them a task for analysis of a script or malware analysis or vulnerability analysis or a threat hunting, they would love it. But if you ask them, give me the incident report, write me a report in a non-technical language and also in a technical language for my CISO and a non-technical for CEO or the board member, they would say, okay, come after 3 days because they need to really think, write, analyze, whatnot. But today, in Copilot for Security, they can just say, here's the technical incident number, write me a non-executive report. Within 30 seconds, they have the report in front of them. They copy paste it in the email and here you go. So you see how much time saving they have and how much work is enjoyable when they use this kind of approach and technology within the environment.
That's fascinating. And yeah, thank you for putting that in perspective. There's certainly a lot of potential in terms of defenders using generative AI, and we're going to see a lot of momentum in short order. And lastly, I just wanted to get your final thoughts on what you think the future of AI is in cybersecurity and where do you think it's headed?
I have a very positive outlook on the future of AI. We are just scratching the surface right now. I just gave you a few examples how a generative AI technology can be used, especially Copilot for Security in the security operations centers. You can use it for threat hunting, threat analysis, writing report, automation. One of the biggest things today we see either you work for AI or you work with AI. That's the two options you have. I would say in future, we have to work with AI so we are better capable. And I don't know if you have seen a movie called Atlas. It's something very futuristic called Super Generative AI, where human and AI working together to fight against bad stuff and all. This is just a movie plot I gave you, but in future, we see how AI and human will be converged together and do amazing things, which we are not able to do today or achieve today in terms of speed, accuracy.
I agree with you. Seeing these futuristic movies, it's surreal to see how this is coming to life in today's world. Anyway, having said that, it's been great to discuss these topics with you. And thank you for coming to Synechron State of the Tech podcast. I really appreciate your time and your insights.
Thank you very much for having me. As usual, pleasure is all mine. And thank you for having me on your podcast.
And thank you to all of our listeners for joining us today. Stay tuned for the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Synechron State of Tech podcast. Don't forget to like and share this episode and subscribe to stay up to date on all of the latest and innovative technologies savvy businesses need to know about. To learn more about Synechron, head to our website at www.synechron.com. Stay tuned.